Hello friends, welcome back to the homestead. My name is Constance. So today I thought I would just tell you a little bit of a story. As you are aware, I recently changed my channel name from A Good Life Farm back to the original Cosmopolitan Cornbread. And there's a lot of new people around here right about now. And some people don't know the story of the name Cosmopolitan Cornbread and want to know where that name came from and why I chose that name. Well, to understand that particular name, we actually have to go back a little bit further. Most of you know we were an active duty Army family for 25 years, and we lived all over the place, from Germany to Alaska to several different states. And you know, during our time as an Army family, not only did we live a lot of places, we traveled more places, and you know, we met people and had friends from all over the world. And when I first began blogging, I blogged as, well, my first real blog was Mrs. Mama Hen. And at the time, we lived on a homestead. It was our very first real homestead. Of course, it was a rental. We were still Army and nothing could be permanent. But that name kind of stuck. The kids actually came up with the name. They said that the chickens followed me around like I was their Mama Hen. And so it kind of stuck as Mrs. Mama Hen. And back then, you know, my blog was mainly just a hobby. I did it for fun. I did kind of see it as a little bit of an outreach, but it was mostly fun. A few years later, I decided I wanted to actually blog as a business, take it seriously, and I could have kept the name Mrs. Mama Hen, but I didn't know how to. I thought I had to come up with a new name, didn't realize I could just redirect everything, and I just could have kept it the whole time. But I decided I needed to come up with a new name. And I spent not much time thinking about it. I just kept coming up with ideas, and a lot of them were taken, and I finally found one that was available, and I grabbed it, and that's what I called it. And it was originally the Foodie Army Wife. The problem was almost immediate, because no sooner did I launch my professional blog as the Foodie Army Wife, when just a matter of weeks later, we were on our way to Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, in the Huntsville area. It was going to be our very last duty station, and then we weren't going to be Army anymore. So why in the world was I calling my website the Foodie Army Wife when that chapter of my life was actually about to end? And so I was like, I need a different name. I need something that would be long-lasting, would fit what people see on my website, to give them a sense of the atmosphere, I guess. Because at the time I found blogging as the Foodie Army Wife, I was getting continually contacted by organizations affiliated with the military and all of that, which is fine, except the content on my website didn't reflect that. It wasn't a good fit, because most of my audience was not military. And so I sat down and I just started thinking of ideas. And something that always came to mind when I thought of just good old-fashioned home cooking, nostalgia, just home, was the word cornbread. And so I knew I wanted to use the word cornbread in the name of the new website, of the new blog. And I played around with a lot of different ideas, and I wanted there to be a reflection of not only was this just old-fashioned country living, home cooking, and all of that in the cornbread aspect. But I also wanted there to be some sort of nod to the fact that I have lived all over the world. I have been exposed to many different cultures and have friends from all over the world, and I wanted there to be some sort of reflection of that. And so that is actually where I brought in the word cosmopolitan, because like most words, it has many names, and one of the names is well-traveled and cultured and all of that. And so the well-traveled aspect of it, of having been all over the world, cosmopolitan. And so Cosmopolitan Cornbread fits. And when we retired from Army life and we began our homestead in Alabama, we named our homestead A Good Life Farm. And, you know, for a long time, I continued to blog as Cosmopolitan Cornbread. But then about, I think it was a year and a half or so ago, I changed the name of my channel to A Good Life Farm. And I thought, well, if that's going to be a Good Life Farm, then everything should be a Good Life Farm, because everything should be the same. I like the consistency of having it all the same. But, you know, to be honest, I no sooner changed the name to A Good Life Farm when I was kind of regretting it. And I had reasons for doing it. And they were good reasons. I have a video where I talk all about that. But I liked Cosmopolitan Cornbread. I liked that it was kind of a catchy name. I liked the alliteration. And every time I went places, people would see me and they would go, "Oh, Cosmopolitan Cornbread." And then they would pause and they would go, "Wait, you changed it. What is it now?" Everywhere I went, people were still remembering me as Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and that just kind of like kept needling at me of, see, I want my Cosmopolitan Cornbread back. And every time that would happen, that would just kind of reaffirm that, yeah, we should go back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. I like it. It's my channel. It's my blog. I can do what I want with it, right? But I think the final straw, like what truly sealed the deal, was after we had purchased this place. And we had already begun moving. We just hadn't told you guys yet. I was laying in bed one night just thinking about the move and thinking about everything. And so it dawned on me, A Good Life Farm, it's not a right fit. It's not the right fit. Because when you look at this, yes, this is a homestead. It's a beautiful homestead. But this is not the farm. This is a mountain homestead. And that, for me, when I came to that realization, that is when I knew we need to change everything back. But at the time, I didn't know if I would be able to, because a lot of times when you give up a name, whether it's Instagram or, you know, whatever, a lot of times you can't get it back. And so I was like, well, we're going to try. We're going to try and get it back. And if I can, then that's what we're going to do. And so I immediately made the decision and went for it. First, I tested Instagram. It let me take it back. Then I changed something else and it let me take it back. I changed YouTube. It let me take it back. And I was shocked. I was able to get back every single URL for social media. The only exception, or the only minor difference, is that from the time that I originally launched the channel to now, YouTube had changed. You know, they implemented the whole handle thing. And so I couldn't get back youtube.com/Cosmopolitan Cornbread. There is an @ symbol in there because they do it as handles now. But yeah, otherwise I was able to get everything back, and I was shocked. I really was, especially when it came to Facebook, because the last time I had tried to change the channel or the name on Facebook, it was such an ordeal. I actually had to log into my website on the back side of it and take a screenshot and send it to Facebook to prove to them that I owned the domain. You know, it was a fiasco, but I went on, I changed it, and it gave it to me immediately. So, and honestly, I'm happy about it. I'm happy I took the name back. You know I have a lot of new subscribers who joined as A Good Life Farm, but a lot of you guys are OG, and you knew me from then. So that's the story behind Cosmopolitan Cornbread, how the name came about, and a little bit more about why I changed it back. And I said in the video where I announced the change how there were other reasons, but I would talk about them at a different time. This is why. Because I already knew we were moving. We had already signed the papers and everything, and I just hadn't let you guys in on it yet. But in any case, that is it for today. We are just about hitting sunset, and it's about to be Shabbat. Now, by the time this video goes up, of course, it won't be the weekend anymore. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks for hanging out with me here again at the homestead. My name is Constance at Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I will talk to y'all next time.